March 29th, of course, holds two interesting belts. That being the co-main event, being the undisputed minimum weight fight between two unified champions. Of course, that being Seniesa Estrada and Yokasta Valle. Of course, in the main event, you have two featherweights, Liam Wilson and Oscar Valdez. Very interesting fight. Some people are wondering why Valdez and Wilson are higher up, because there is no belts involved, but whatever. I think people are going to tune into both of them. But anyway, let's talk about the undisputed minimum weight fight first. Of course, you have the IBF and WBO champion, Yokasta Valle. She is 30-2 with 9 KOs. Obviously, when women don't have the highest knockout ratio, but they sure as hell put some entertaining fights. With that being said, let's talk about her losses. Her losses came back in, well, first of all, they're back-to-back losses. Back in 2017 and 2018 to Naoya Fujioka, unanimous decision. Another unanimous decision loss to Tina Rupacek. But after that, she has not tasted defeat for years. Of course, she is on a tear, obviously being the unified world champion, beating a bunch of unbeaten opponents. Of course, she will be taking on the fan favorite Seniesa Estrada, which is, of course, the WBC and WBA unified minimum weight world champion. Of course, her record is 25-0 with 9 knockouts. You may know one of the knockouts, that being one of the fastest ones. Of course, this one, most people said the matchmaker should go to jail for that, but whatever. He didn't, not to my knowledge. But of course, they have the same amount of knockouts. But of course, Estrada has 7 less fights to her name. Never tasted defeat. Of course, there's another very interesting one for the sole fact that this will be a former Golden Boy fighter facing a current Golden Boy fighter, at least more recently anyway, because there's a lot of former Golden Boy fighters. Of course, that being Seniesa Estrada being the former one, and Yokasta Valle being the current one. Of course, it's very interesting, as both of them have been doing really well. And you know what's the weird part is, 2 fights ago, 2023, she fought a very familiar name. Of course, you don't know her until now, maybe. Tina Rupacek, that's right. She faced the person that gave Yokasta Valle one of her losses. And she did it, unifying the titles. Of course, both these people come off of unification belts and one defense, and now they're going undisputed, which is very nice. But with that being said, I think it might be a little obvious who's going to win, but you never know. Because literally, Seniesa Estrada fought Tina Rupacek for unification later on in her career, and it's not like she was old herself. Yokasta Valle, of course, lost to her, but that doesn't mean that means something, but it doesn't mean everything. You could always improve on your fights, and of course, you look at her recent opponents, pretty nice opponents. Of course, the person Valle unified with was Thithu Nijunian. Sorry for butchering the name, but she did unify with her. She only had 5 fights, but hey, 5 fights and becoming champion, that's what's up. Of course, coming off of some undefeated fighters, beating them. This will be a very nice fight. Of course, it will go decision. I'm not going to say there's going to be a knockout. Let's not say that. But I do think Seniesa Estrada, of course, beating Tina Rupacek and also having somewhat better opponents than Valle will, of course, probably grant her the win by decision. But I think it will be a closely contested fight. For a sole fact, it's two unified champions. Let's not sit here and say one's going to put a beating on the other one. It's not going to happen. Of course, when you look at these two people fight, of course, one looks a wee bit sharper than the other. And, of course, most people will know it's Estrada. Estrada looks a lot sharper than Valle. And, of course, with the fact that she beat Tina Rupacek, it's going to be a close fight, let's be real. I think Valle definitely learned a lot from the losses. But I think Seniesa Estrada will be a little too fast, a little too sharp for Valle. I think she gets it done. How many rounds is this? 10 2-minute rounds, alright, so they're not doing 3-minute rounds. But I think she gets it done 6 rounds or to 4 or 7 rounds to 3. Leaning more towards 6 to 4. But yeah, I got Seniesa Estrada becoming the undisputed minimum weight champion. It's going to be a good fight. Of course, the main event. You have the Australian Liam Wilson taking on the rugged Mexican Oscar Valdez. Of course, these people have faced a similar opponent as well. That's right, most people know it is the champion, Manuel Navarrete. They both faced them. One, it depends on what you mean by better, but Wilson knocked down Navarrete. Some people thought he should have got the stopping victory over him, but they gave him too much time. And but Wilson ended up getting TKO'd or knocked out. Valdez did not get KO'd. He went unanimous decision. But let's just say he didn't win as many rounds. Of course, both of them tried a very similar style with Navarrete. That is a catch and shoot style, which of course it is a very, very difficult style to do, but I would assume most people think is the best style considering both of them did it. But then again, you had the GOAT, Conceição, just straight up banging with Navarrete and said, alright, screw that, I'm not catching and shooting. I'm just throwing hands. But they both tried to catch and shoot. It did not end well for both of them. Obviously, one ended up worse, and the other technically ended up worse as well. Depends on what you mean by worse. But of course, Valdez is coming off of the loss, while Wilson is coming off a 2-fight win streak against some pretty decent opponents. The 12-0 Carlos Maria Alanes. Very nice. Of course, he's also coming off of Jackson John England, a 15-2. Decent win as well. Especially when you're trying to get your confidence back up, and also because Liam Wilson is young. You look at his age, that dude is only 28. He's just entering his prime. Super featherweight, we'll worry about him in the future. But of course, the other loss, besides Navarrete, was Joe Nonyan, that being the TKO. But, to all the people wondering, he avenged his loss to Joe Nonyan, or Nonye, by second round KO. He got knocked out. Of course, Liam Wilson is doing better for himself nowadays. Same cannot be said for Oscar Valdez. Of course, 31-2. He also has 2 losses. Weirdly enough, in his last 3 fights, he's 1-2. And some people may have even said in the last 4 fights, he should have been 1-3. But he did win that fight. Why? Because before his first loss against Shakur Stevenson, he faced Robson Conceição, that's right, who was undefeated at the time. He beat him unanimous decision. Many people thought Conceição pulled it off, but of course that's not what the judges thought. And then he went on to face Shakur Stevenson, lost via unanimous decision, and got knocked down. He later came back to fight Adam Lopez. Of course, this will be the rematch where he knocked out Adam Lopez. This time, he did not do so. Of course, he went unanimous decision win with him. Couldn't even rock Adam Lopez. Of course, technically once, but that was a headbutt. We're going to talk about that. And then after the win, he faced Manuel Navarrete, where he got absolutely bodied. I didn't think that was going to happen, but it happened. Of course, Valdez is 33. He's definitely getting up there in age, especially with the beating he took from Navarrete. Questions will be asked. Will he be the same Valdez? Many people say no because of the whole steroid situation, but thing is, both of these have somewhat similar styles. They're somewhat aggressive. Also, not really. They would easily go back to the catch and shoot method if one person is way too aggressive. They're like, okay, I guess I won't be the aggressive one. They're not really going to be fighting for who's going to be the most aggressive one. Second, someone shows that, they're going to be like, okay, fine. You can keep that. You can keep that style. I'm going to use the other one. And vice versa. But of course, Valdez has a lot more power. Of course, his last knockout was against Miguel Berchelt. Of course, Liam Wilson's last knockout was, of course, when he avenged his loss back in 2022. Now, of course, what I got winning is a very interesting one. Of course, Wilson has 2 losses on his record, and both by knockout, while Valdez has lost via decision. So obviously, he's a wee bit more durable. But with that being said, he is 33. Valdez is 33. Got a beating from Navarrete. This could very well be the time where he starts aging. You know, he is, at this point, kind of leaving his prime. But at the same time, Wilson, not really much. He's a good fighter. I mean, Valdez should theoretically still be the better fighter than Wilson. But like I said, he's 33, got a beating from Navarrete, he's not on a losing streak, but he is 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Most people thought he should have lost to Conceição. Of course, that one person he did beat, he already beat before, so and it's not saying a lot. With that being said, I I think I might see an upset. I think Wilson might get it done. I think he gets it done via decision. Valdez still has a shot. He has power. He can counter him and all that stuff. But and of course Wilson is no Navarrete, so weirdly enough, because like I said, Valdez should be the one that should win. Let's be honest. If someone said you were to bet a big chunk of money on someone, who would you bet on? I would bet on the obvious favorite, that being Valdez. At the same time, like I keep saying, he's 33, got a beating. Every time I think, oh no, he's going to recover from this, they lose, right? But whatever. And every single time I say, I can't see this guy losing, he loses anyways. So maybe me and that phrase should not be together anymore. But I think I might fancy Wilson if it's an upset. I just see it happening. That he's younger, somewhat fresher. Of course, he did get knocked out twice. But let's be honest. Look at Valdez's face. He probably should. I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Okay, I'm just kidding. Valdez's face is worse. But I think I fancy Wilson. Of course, like I said, Wilson is not a power puncher, and he has not really been facing power punchers in his fights. Of course, the person who we got knocked out by in the first place was not a power puncher. Neither are really other people. Of course, the last true experienced power puncher that he faced was the Argentine Matias Carlos Adrian Riuda. But you see his record, it's not a lot of experience behind the power, but like I said, it's still got power. So, I'm fancying Wilson on the upset, but at the same time, Valdez may win because I don't know. I just don't trust Valdez anymore. Got a beating, 33, been in some wars. I fancy Wilson. You know what? This is here. If you pick Valdez 100%, he's the favorite. It makes sense. I'm just fancying Wilson. He has an aggressive style as well. I don't know if Valdez has that dog in him anymore. I mean, obviously he technically still does, but does he still have the bite with the dog? You could be a dog, but it doesn't mean you'll bite. But right, you get what I'm saying. Enough quotes. I got Wilson with the upset. Enough dancing, beating around the bush. I got Wilson winning decision. I can't. I just can't trust Valdez. It's simple as that. But anyways, that is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the picks. Of course, March 30th also has 2 fights, which will be the next video. That being Zurdo Ramirez attempting to become a 2-division world champion again, and the introduction of PBC on Prime. That's right. It used to be Thurman versus Zoo, but now he pulled out because of a bicep injury or whatever. Now it's Zoo versus Fundora with Rolly Romero versus Isaac Cruz in the co-main event. Very interesting night of fights. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.